Hello, thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be talking about the health benefits, the physical health benefits of a biblical fast. So before I begin, I just want to put a disclaimer before this, in that this is not a prescription for anyone. I am in no way advising you or telling you to fast. It is something that you should decide by yourself. And if you've got any medical conditions, you should make sure you consult your GP, your doctor, to make sure that undertaking a fast is something that is right for you. Secondly, this is not a spiritual prescription in any way. This is the fast is something that you should get to consult with God, and it would be something that God, through the Holy Spirit, has impressed on you to do. The extent of the fast, the type of fast, those are all things that I am not in any way telling you which fast to undertake, but that is something that you will have heard from God through the Holy Spirit to then bring you to a point of deciding to undertake a fast. So I just thought I'd first of all prefix all this with those two clear statements. Now, why am I thinking it important to do this talk? As I talk, you might see me looking down every now and then. I just have a few notes with me just to make sure that I stay on track with everything that I want to share with you today. But the reason I'm having this making this video about the physical health benefits of a biblical fast is, I don't know about you, but many times when I've been fasting, there have been times when the call of the flesh is quite strong, that it starts making me think, am I hurting my body in some way by doing this fast? So I want to share some of the amazing research that has been coming out, showing us things that obviously God ordained in our bodies at the point of creation. But you know how science is. Science takes some time to discover all these amazing things that God has put in place. And part of what they're discovering is the amazing health benefits of fasting. So the amazing physical benefits of fasting, that physical effects that are taking place in our body while we're fasting. So I just want to share those things with you. And the reason I'm sharing these with you is not in any way for you to start thinking, oh, let me just go on a fast for the health reasons. No. I want you to know that while you're undertaking that biblical fast, and while I'm saying biblical fast, let's not forget the best reference for a biblical fast we find in Isaiah 58. So make sure that you're familiar with that, and you always keep that in mind when you're undertaking any kind of fast, any biblical fast. So the reason I'm sharing with you this information is because I want us to come to a point of just being in awe of God. Just being in awe with all that He does for us and how He has created our bodies. Because you will find, as we are going through the different stages of fasting and explaining the physical health benefits of the different fasts, you will come to an understanding of just how amazing God is. He is so giving that while we are thinking, oh, let me put my flesh under subjection, let me not be listening to my flesh and decide to undertake this fast so that I can be seeking more of God, and be able to open up my spiritual ears to hear more of God. While you're deciding to do that, denying the flesh, He then takes the time to actually bring healing and restore healing and restoration in our body. It is just something that gives me to awe, brings me to awe every time I think of it. And I just thought this is so important for us to share, for me to share with you, so that you can also just come to an understanding of that. And this, I'm not sharing it the way the world wants to share it, where we start glorifying our bodies and start thinking, oh, look at how our bodies have evolved into this amazing machine that has all these self-healing abilities. That's not how I'm wanting to share it right now. I'm sharing this so that you can come to understand that when God created us, He gave us these amazing abilities of the body, being able to go into these self-healing modes. He put healing mechanisms in our bodies, and that's what I want to share with you today. So there are different stages of fasting, but before we even go to the first stage of fasting, I want to share with you something that has often made me question whether what I'm doing is correct. So when you go for about 3 to 4 hours without eating anything, you start having hunger pangs. And with the hunger pangs comes this noises from your stomach. These noises from the stomach can be really loud sometimes. It can be like some actual growling that's taking place in your stomach. You almost think, oh, my body's talking to me, telling me I really need to eat. So I want you to know that this is something called the gut motility complex. And what this is where your digestive system has taken time to self-clean. This takes place when there hasn't been any food in your belly and all the food that you had previously eaten has been digested. So your gut realizes, oh, there's no food right now, and let me take this time to do my housekeeping. It takes that time to do some cleaning, self-cleaning within the gut, just to clean away some food debris, clean away some excess mucus. And this is what is called the gut motility complex. So whenever you hear those growlings within your belly, just realize that it is the housekeeping that's taking place. It's nothing about your body telling you that you're harming it and therefore you need to eat. This only switches on when you haven't eaten. The moment you haven't eaten and the food that you had previously eaten has now been digested. The moment you eat, that switches off straight away. So going for a good 3 hours to 4 hours without eating in between meals actually has some benefits. Now, fasting has been described in science as having various physical benefits, and these fasting has been put into stages, and I'm going to be describing the 5 stages of fasting. In this video, we're going to be discussing mainly stage 1 and stage 2. There will be other videos that follow that also go into the other stages, so please do keep a lookout for them. Now, stage 1 is where you haven't eaten for between 8 to 12 hours. You might think, that's just overnight, so how can that be called fasting? I want you to realize that there are many people who actually do not get into 8 hours of fasting where they haven't eaten for 8 hours. This is because of late night snacking and having meals quite late in the night before you go to bed, and then having short periods of sleep. And the moment people wake up, moment a person wakes up, quite often they think, first things first, let me have my breakfast. So yes, it can happen that people do not even go up to 8 hours without food in their stomach. But generally, this will be the time of you sleeping. This is overnight, between 8 to 12 hours. Okay, so this stage 1 of fasting, what is happening? Stage 1 of fasting is about maintaining a stable blood sugar. So what has happened is after 3 to 4 hours, since your last meal. You have broken down the food, and that food has now been absorbed from your digestive tract into your blood. So at 3 to 4 hours of fasting is when most of your carbohydrates have been broken down, and the unit that they're broken down into is glucose. Glucose is the unit of is the food unit that is used by our bodies to then make energy. So I'm going to be talking about blood sugars. It's the same as blood glucose because it is glucose that has been absorbed from your digestive tract and is now in your blood. And it's not all food that is broken down into glucose. It is the carbohydrates and the sugars that are broken down into glucose. So because this is the main form of energy unit that the body uses to then produce energy in the cell, it is important for the body to be able to maintain stable blood sugar levels. So what happens is your body starts tapping into the glycogen that is in your liver. This is a food store that is kept in your liver for times like this, where your body has gone for up to 8 hours without eating any food. So this glycogen, what is it? It is a polysaccharide. Basically, that just means it's a complex sugar. So this complex sugar called glycogen is now broken down by your body to give the unit of energy that the body would then utilize in the cell to produce energy. Now, at this stage, you'll find that there's also a bit of crossover where the glycogen stores, as they're being used up and getting depleted, your body also starts tapping into the fat. Now, when fat is broken down, it is broken down into something called ketones. So you'll be having the glycogen in your liver being broken down into glucose and being utilized by your liver, by your body for energy. But at the same time, as that source of glycogen is getting depleted, your body starts utilizing the fat in your body, breaking it down to ketones. So stable blood sugar, maintenance of the stable blood sugar is what is happening in phase 1. And early ketosis, that is when you are tapping into the fat stores, but this is still at early stages. Stage 2 of fasting is between 12 to 18 hours. In this stage, there are 3 main health benefits that I'm going to be talking about. Well, 3 main benefits. The first benefit is that of appetite suppression. How does this take place? As your body glycogen store is being depleted, your body starts using more and more of ketones. And ketones, which are the unit that your fat is broken down into for your body to then utilize as an energy source, the ketones have a way of suppressing your appetite. So this is where you have reached about 12, you've gone past 12 hours of fasting, and you suddenly find you don't feel hungry anymore. Those hunger pangs are suppressed. So this is what will be happening in your body. The ketones have an ability of suppressing your appetite. The second thing that is happening at this stage is you can get, for some people it's very clear, they get this mental clarity. Why is this? So it has been found that two major organs, your heart and your brain, actually become more efficient when they're using ketones as their energy source. So what is happening is that your brain is utilizing ketones as the energy source and is therefore more efficient when it's utilizing these ketones, and you suddenly get this mental clarity that comes on. So it actually makes learning easier. It makes focusing on tasks easier. It also gives a boost to your mood. So that is the second physical health benefit of this stage of fasting. The third benefit of this stage of fasting is the reduction of insulin sensitivity. I'll explain more. So generally, your body uses glucose as the energy unit, energy source, and that glucose then goes into the cells, and it is the cells that use that glucose and change it into energy. Okay. However, for that glucose to move from your blood to go into the cell, we need insulin. What is insulin? Insulin is a hormone that is produced by your pancreas, and this insulin it attaches to the cell. I'll say it that way. It attaches to the cell and is like a shuttle bus for your glucose to move from the blood into the cell. Okay, so it is the insulin that enables your cells to then take up that glucose and then be able to, and then that cell then uses that glucose into as an energy source and converts that into energy. Okay, so when we've gone about 16 hours of fasting, you'll find that there is hardly any glucose in your blood at that point. The glucose in your blood has decreased significantly. You're now using more ketones for your energy as the energy unit, as the energy source. So because of this, your pancreas doesn't need to make as much insulin. And what happens usually is when we are eating often, when we're not in periods of fasting, when we're eating often and there is glucose in your body, the glucose has to be kept at a stable level, because if it gets too high, it can actually be dangerous to your body. If it gets too high in your blood, it can actually be dangerous in your body. So this stage, there isn't any much glucose in your body, therefore the insulin need is decreased in your body, and this actually has the effect of increasing the insulin sensitivity of the cells, because when you're usually eating and there's just a lot of insulin being produced so that your body, your cells can take up that glucose from your blood, you'll find that there's a bit of insensitivity that starts taking place. There's a bit of resistance that starts to happen where there is insulin, but somehow that insulin is not an efficient shuttle bus anymore. But when you are in this stage of fasting, the insulin resistance is actually decreased. So the use of that insulin, that ability of that insulin to become an efficient shuttle bus to move the glucose into your body is actually increased. Now, why are we worried about insulin resistance? Insulin resistance is what then leads to the early stages of diabetes, those pre-diabetic stages, and even can if that stage goes unchecked, it can lead to the stage of diabetes. So if you are somebody who has been said to be pre-diabetic, or even somebody who is in the stages of diabetes, when you go to these stages of fasting of up to about 16 hours onwards, it actually helps your body to heal to decrease, not completely heal, as obviously the more often you do it, sometimes it can come to a point of actually complete healing. But it actually helps your body to reduce the insulin resistance in your body, making your cells more efficient in taking up that glucose from the blood and maintaining a stable blood sugar level. So these are the first two stages of fasting that I've discussed today. As I said earlier, there will be more videos discussing the other stages of fasting. I hope what I've discussed in this video has been helpful to you and has given you some insight of what is taking place in your body. Thank you.